have the transform tools. You see that already on the side. Okay, so I'm not going to go back to that. Okay, the soft modification tool, you guys, is a tool for modeling. All right, you see, you select it right here, and after that, let me make smaller. All right. Okay, you can select spots and basically move it out. All right, and you can make it bigger by clicking on B, and then moving that. All right, so it's a good modeling tool. It's a good tool. So remember it to use when you're gonna do your lip sync and facial animation. And that works very well to recreate different phonemes for your animation, okay, for your facial animation. So remember that. Now you got reset transformation, freeze transformation. Those are fairly important. The reset transformation will do translate, rotate, and scale. If I select, let me make a new scene first. Okay. If I select, I put a ball right here, and I do a couple things to it. You know, something pretty cheesy, but let me, there you go, like that. I'll just do that to it. All right, nothing's huge. Now, if I click on reset transformation, and I've got a choice of translate, rotate, and scale, as I said, let me take all of them, and I click on apply, it will re-put my mesh in the middle of it, and it will reset. Let me do that right here. See, right here, look at that. It will reset transformation and translate and everything for me. Okay, and just put it right here. It hasn't been scaled. If I had scaled it, let me do that again. Let me put it right here. That's where you have to be careful. It will reset transformation. All right, it'll get smaller again. You can, you know, obviously by doing that, you know, they won't work either. So you have to be careful with that, remember. Okay, but that would work to reset it in the center. Okay, it's used in video game a lot. So you can, you know, you go right here and you say reset transformation, and you make sure you go and you say maybe the rotate and the scaling, because you haven't rotated anything in scale, and translate it. So you apply it, and then it'll put it back properly where it belongs in the middle. And that's important sometimes for game engines, okay? So remember that. Okay, now another things we do have after that that is pretty good is also the freeze transformation. All right, and that's good manner to do. Let me do a couple selection and move that. Actually, not like that. See, that's why I like better to use the painting tool, because with the painting tool you don't have that problem. Okay, you get that, and you move just the back right here. Let me take another selection. Well, actually, we're good. I'll scale it a little bit. Okay, right here. Alright. Okay, nothing very fancy at all. Okay, now if you look at all the numbers, you go to modify and you go freeze transformation, and it's option again, translate, rotate, scale, and joint orient also. Okay, which could be very useful. We'll talk about it later on. Okay, and you just apply it, and it has frozen everything to 0 without changing stuff. Okay, that's the main difference. This is good manner. Okay, I usually replace them if I work on stuff by model by itself for video game that's gonna be imported. It depends if they have to be imported in the scene in the middle, it's important, or if it's important for them to be placed somewhere in the scene. But I always use that thing. All right, that froze everything. That's well now clean and translate and stuff. It'll be a lot better already for animation. Okay, you have the snapping align tools. That's mainly, all those are mainly tools for modeling, making live, will let you create spline, curve on surface and so forth. Center pivot, very important. If you click on insert, or if you group multiple items together, like I'm doing right now, and I'll just group them. All right. Now, as you can see, the pivot point of the group is not centered. So that means if I rotate it, it's going to rotate around that mesh right there. Okay, that might be cool if you do planets. That might not be what you want though. So you want to go and modify and center pivot point. All right, that will center it properly, which is very useful. You can click on insert and move your pivot points wherever you want, by the way. Okay, on your scene, click on insert again, and that will be rotating or transforming because it's the same pivot point from that axis. All right, which is kind of cool. All right. Let's see. You can add attributes, and basically we will do that. You guys will do that with a hand. It's basically you create a new attribute with a name. You give him some math, and very simple math, minimum, maximum possibilities in the translate. That's an attribute right here. Okay, so we'll create another attribute right here, and we'll give him a max and a minimum value and a default value basically. And then we'll attach it, connect it to a driving set key, which is basically as a driver and a driven, and it's to make hand animation closing your hand. Okay, making a fist. We have that in the class. That's very important. So remember that. This is a very good one. You can edit it and you can delete that attribute basically. You can that's mainly for modeling. It's basically converting meshes to other styles, standard of mesh. Fluid is an animation, and particles animation also. That can be converted to polygons mesh basically, which is very cool for video games, by the way. This is the key for video games, all right? I mean, one of the key. Okay, you can replace the object, obviously. Those are not painting tools. You don't need that for animation. Create primitives, NURBS, polygons, subdivision, volume. Create lights also. Maybe we'll look into it. Cameras also. All right, cameras are important for animation. You need to know how to move your camera properly. I don't want some crazy move either that makes you sick or that are just totally non-natural. You got to watch movies a lot and action cartoons to figure out the angle they use and use those. All right, you guys. Yes, 3 style of camera. The fourth one is stereo camera for 3D, obviously. Okay, so the regular camera, no aim, a camera with an aim, and a camera with an aim and an up and down for more control. This is CV and EP curves, pencil curves, and arc tool. Basically, modeling tool, spline tool, modeling tool. Measuring tool is pretty cool. You have a distance tool that can be used with a snapping tool, for example, like snapping to point. All right, and then you can snap to points, you know, like right here, and it'll give you a distance. All right, and that's really neat. Okay, and that could be adjusted too. Actually, you can grab that and actually, oops, sorry, but that could be adjusted right here. All right, to see distance and stuff like that, and you can snap it to the grid after that, for example, and see the distance between a point to another point. That's really very useful, you guys. Video game 3D needs to work on scales. The scale needs to be proper and everything needs to be tied up together, so that does get used all the time. All right. Text, create text. Okay. Create Adobe Illustrator object out of Maya. In Maya, you can use spline out of Illustrator and extrude them, basically. You can create another construction plane. I'm not going to do that. Locator is very important, you guys. Locator is a non-renderable object. It's right here. That can be attached to another, object. Let me go into my hypergraph. Now you take your sphere right here and you attach it, parent it to the locator basically. Now when you move the locator, that goes with it. The locator can be constrained in only a couple axes, all right, and basically you can, cut it and stuff like that, and constrain to one axis so you can have a better job in your animation. That's a good procedures for working animation. Now, annotation. All right, you guys can create a couple annotations. Empty groups. You can empty the groups. The sets, you've seen that before. You don't need those for now. Display. Heads up display. Pretty cool, you guys. That's the type of display you can have, basically, which is poly count, but that's not going to be useful for you, poly count. Your best shot for you is those two right here. And I'm taking off right now and I'm putting it back. It's frame rate and current frame. So heads up display and current frame rate gives you the frame rate of your machine. I'm not that great in mine. And that's why I like to use Motion Builder. Motion Builder will give you real time.